ahead and kick us off. This series is part of the Collegetown CLASS series. CLASS, like everything in higher education, it seems, is an acronym. CLASS stands for Civic Leadership Alumni Skillshare. So these classes are workshops and seminars and other gathering places for members of our alumni community and friends of our organization. So Joshua participated in one of our leadership development programs, Collegetown Underground. So now he is sharing his wonderful skills with our community. So not only are we able to go through this program live, but it is being recorded and will live forevermore on the Collegetown YouTube channel. So we are all about highlighting the special skills of our former participants. So we thank Joshua so much for his time, his energy, and his skill set. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the Zoom mic over to him and get started with today's program. Just so everyone knows, I will be monitoring the chat. That is my only role for this evening with the passing of the mic. So take it away, Joshua.
Hey, thank you so much, Maddie. So again, this presentation is how can we lift up our communities, especially now. My name is Joshua Gray, and I just wanted to start off with a few things to know that are very important for sharing space with me. So the first is I will be calling on folks to share during the talk. To use a colloquialism, that means sit on ready, always be ready to be called on. Two, please prepare something to write with. So this could be a notebook, tablet, phone, computer. I added in papyrus and a reed pen as a nice communications joke, but have something that you can write and journal with. Third, I would like if all participants could keep their cameras on, but honor the decision to not have those on. Fourth, I will not have access to the chat. So please speak out if you need anything. Maddie already said that she will be moderating the chat, but in case you need something immediately, please feel free to unmute yourself and call out. 5, if you are not speaking, keep your microphone muted. And then finally, we will honor preferred names and pronouns. So please update your Zoom name to include your pronouns if you've not already done so. In transitioning, I always like to do land acknowledgements when I'm doing any type of presentation. I find that it's really important to give honor to the people that were on this land before we got here. So because we're all in different environments right now, I couldn't do it for one specific place, but I'm going to do it for UMBC. So I'm gonna read this statement. UMBC was established upon the land of the Piscataway, Conoy, and Susquehannock peoples. Over time, citizens and many more indigenous nations have come to reside in this region. We humbly offer our respects to all past, present, and future indigenous people connected to this place. So thank you for honoring that time to just recognize the people that were on this land before we got here. So now to transition into a little bit of a who am I? Again, my name is Joshua Gray. I use the he series, he, him, his. I am studying dance and media and communication studies with a minor in public administration and policy at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. I am obsessed with zodiacs, so I always like to throw my zodiac sign out there. I'm a Capricorn, January 19th, which is like zodiac cusp region. So Capricorn, Aquarius, like right in the middle. But I like to claim Capricorn. Some of my campus involvement, I'm a team lead in the undergraduate admissions and orientation office. I am the vice president for student organizations for the Student Government Association. I am the vice president of the Association of Black Artists, the secretary of the Dance Council of Majors, and a Lanahan Artist Scholar at UMBC. Just to throw it out there, my favorite snack, rice pudding and toast, but like not just any dry toast. I know it's weird, but I like toast with like a little bit of butter, some cinnamon on it, a little bit of sugar. Like that could get me through my entire day. So those are just some fun facts about me. So now to hop into the subject matter of uplifting our communities, I think that's important that we have some type of working definition that we're going off of. Something that can always ground us, something that we can reference, something that we can draw from. So this is the definition that I came up with. This isn't based in scholarship. It's not based in anything else except my own thoughts. So I have defined here, and this is the definition again that we're going to be working with, defined community as being the context by which our ability is defined, right? So the context by which our ability is defined. There are a few things that from this definition I have extracted to basically frame this presentation to be as bountiful as possible. And this next slide is if you are planning to take notes, where you really want to take those notes, because these are the 3 things that I really want you to take away from this presentation. So these are the key concepts that you are going to be basing all of your knowledge for this presentation, as well as some main takeaways. So the first thing, we are a result of our community. We rest upon the bodies, the minds, and the spirits of the many that have come before us. So that's recognizing our past as a part of our community. The second thing, our existential imperative is to see our community as it can be rather than how it is. Community, it's living, it's breathing, it's thriving constantly. So we should be giving it the tools to mature, right? It should be given the space to mature. It should be given the ability to do what it does naturally, because it does have that breath within it. And then the third thing, our context is constantly changing as we develop and evolve, but rather than complete erasure, layers of previous experiences lead to future soul entanglements. So I'm gonna repeat that one again, because this is my favorite. Our context is constantly changing as we develop and evolve, but rather than complete erasure, rather than completely getting rid of that previous context, it stacks, it layers on top of one another. Those previous experiences lead to future soul entanglements. This is addressing our future, but how our past is a reflection of where we are to go. So again, these are the 3 things that I really want to make sure that everyone is taking away from this presentation. And now we're going to get into a bit of a free write. I think that for me, being able to think about my own thoughts and then put those out onto something, paper, or my iPad or my computer, that's how I process things. So I wanted to create the space for us to be able to do that processing together. So the first prompt that we're going to be discussing is, what are the contexts that have defined my ability, right? So you're gonna have 2 minutes for this, but I just want you to think, what are the different contexts that have defined my ability? And these contexts could be, for example, being a college student, right? That's a context. And from that, we have ability to do something. And also there is inherent an embedded community within being a college student. It could be being someone who is a person of color, right? That's a context that defines ability. It could be being middle class. That's a context, right? So you're going to take these 2 minutes to just list out all of the different contexts that you identify with. And these contexts, again, are things that define your ability. So again, you have 2 minutes. I'm going to be timing this. So just, it's a bit of a race, but don't worry, just get as many thoughts on your paper as possible. So your 2 minutes are going to start now. right, so that is time. And just for yourself, take a few minutes to just identify some things that you would want to share out. We're going to be sharing at the end of all of our free writes, but just identify some things that you would like to share out during that time. So give a few seconds for that. All right, so I'm now going to transition to the next free write, which is prompt. Which context resonates with my identity the most and why? So what is the one or two potentially context that you listed above that resonate with you the most? And why would you say those are the ones that resonate with you? So I'm going to give 1 minute for this one, and the timer starts now. All right. So the next prompt is going to be, which context is in jeopardy of being harmed and what is that harm? So this can be something that's stopping you from interacting with that. This could be something that is completely demolishing what it looks like to be a part of this context. But what is the harm and which context is being harmed? It does not have to be the one that you previously wrote about. So your 1 minute is starting now. All right, that is time. And the final prompt, what strategic interventions could be done to protect this integrity? So what could you do to potentially step in to protect this context from the harm in the integrity of that context? So for this, you have 2 minutes, and the time begins now. All right, and that is time. And so finally, this is when we're going to share. So like I mentioned earlier, just take a few seconds to try to pull together in your mind those things that you highlighted that you would like to share during this time. We're each going to take a minute or two to share some highlights from each of those questions. So I'll give you like 30 seconds to kind of go through and mentally prepare. All right, and I will start us off and then just call in folks. But to the first prompt, some of the context that I highlighted, being Black, being a college student, being talented and having a codified gift, being Christian, being a Marylander, being American, being physically able. For the second prompt, I said being first generation is the context that resonates with me the most. And I said that because it comes with a unique, and it's interesting, but it comes with a unique set of privileges, right? So like, I recognize that in the place that being first gen puts me in. I feel like expectations when it comes to society are a little lower for first generation students. So I said that. And then I also said the sense of pride from family. That's another thing that's big. For the next prompt, I said that being an American was a thing in jeopardy. It was in jeopardy because of human rights being on the ballot and being in jeopardy, and then also oppressive administrations. And then finally, I said to remediate some of this harm, it's all about access to information, access to politics, access to government, and then education programs that help to close the opportunity gaps that are in existence in so many communities. So those are my responses. Maddie, I'm going to call on you if you're willing to go next.
Sure, great. Thank you so much. These prompts were excellent, and I liked how one fed right into the next. So I may go out of order because I didn't write down the prompts, but bear with me. Some of the elements of my identity that I highlighted were being a white woman who is employed, insured, has ready internet access, and is an eligible voter. The one I identify with most strongly is being a woman, proudly flying my intersectional feminist flag, and in light of the most recent appointment of the Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, I have been thinking about my role in the feminist community, particularly what I can do to continue to support my belief in reproductive freedom as a woman's right. So those thoughts are ever present in my mind and are often brought to the forefront with different news articles and announcements from the White House. So I've been thinking about that aspect of my identity the most in these past couple weeks, because that hearing was super fast and here we are. So I'm always thinking about it, but especially recently. And then lastly, one that I didn't highlight, but is definitely a major aspect of my personality and identity is my family orientation. So I'm super close with my family. We do not live nearby, and that I concentrated on the micro level of aspects of my identity because Joshua agreed, America, election season, all of that. Yes, I went micro for this prompt because my family is grappling with how we're going to handle holiday celebrations, and we typically have to cross many state borders to be together. And in light of the current global pandemic that we're all living through, those conversations have been a little tough, and expectations are different, especially across generations. So thinking about how that can be addressed in a calm and respectful manner. I highlighted communication, honesty, having alternative and backup plans, as well as addressing, respecting, and honoring the feelings of everybody at the table. So a lot to think about between now and Thanksgiving. So that is at the forefront of my mind. And though I am far from being the leader, the matriarch of the family, those eyeballs are on me to be like, what do you think we should do? And I'm like, I don't know. Never had Thanksgiving with COVID. So yeah, that's those are my responses. So I guess I'll kick it back to you, Joshua, and
Yeah,
best to
you can share out if you want.
Okay, so I am on my phone right now, so I'm not sure because my other two devices died. So I'm not sure if I switch that she'll still be able to see me because I typed up everything in my notes app. Can you see me?
We can't, but that's fine.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. But okay, so my response to the first prompt, what are the contexts I have defined my ability? I put college student, sex, social class, I guess race, so the fact that I am African American female, mental and physical health / ability, and my talents. And which context resonates with my identity the most and why. I put the fact that I am a Black female, and the reason being, I just feel like that's what stands. I mean, just seeing me in passing, I think that's what stands out the most. And in light of everything that has gone on in recent months, specifically, I feel like that's just something that I have owned more than, not that I didn't own it before, but it's just something that I guess I've really thought about and kind of, I guess, am more conscious about in a different way than I might have been previously. So in which context is in jeopardy of being harmed? What is that harm? I put my mental and physical health / ability. And I said this because I guess we're always in jeopardy of, being hurt or injured and everything. And especially, I guess mental health really is a big thing right now. And especially since we've been like kind of stuck where we're supposed to be inside, quarantining. And I know that with that and then the added stress of school and everything, just our everyday lives and things that might happen in our families and everything, sometimes things can get overwhelming. So I know that, mental health, like it's something that I'm always grateful for because not everybody is in the best mental state, especially right now. And then also in light of everything, the events going on in the world, like, for example, I know like one of the biggest things right now is like Nigeria and with their, like that whole brutality thing going on there. And I know that people get affected by those things. Like I get affected by those things very easily. So I guess my response to the last prompt was strategic interventions could be done to protect this integrity. I just put, I'm not sure if I answered this correct, quote unquote correctly, but I just put like, I guess a strategic plan to preserve my mental and physical health. And it's just like taking, especially mental, but taking periodic and strategic breaks, and not just going for everything, like knowing, I guess, boundaries. That's what I'm trying to say. Just having your boundaries because it's so easy to set off something and then your emotions might get involved in a way that you didn't even know that you will react to something. Like, so it's just being very aware of your boundaries and what you commit to and knowing when to take breaks. So that's all for me.
Thank you. And to round this out, I wanted to kind of boil it down to what is the point, what is the purpose? And this is a quote that we've often heard, and it's not really a quote, but still, passion, purpose, progress. when I was trying to round this out, I was like, what could do the job? What are the 3 words that could do the job? 1, 2, 3, boom, straight to the point. These are the 3 that I found: passion, purpose, progress. And here is the explanation of all of them. So passion, that's your heart. That's the thing that fuels you on the inside. And so I say that your passions are shaped by the experiences that you have had, identities you hold, and spaces you will take up. That is important. It's the recognition of your past as a fuel to what you will become, and a fuel in what's driving, making the thing drive. So purpose, that is your mind. That's the thing that you're thinking about. And so I say that your purpose is not to recognize something as being wrong, but to identify the harm caused to the context in your life. And the goal of that thing is to make sure that we are not just calling it out and naming it, but how can we address the harm that is causing the thing that we're seeing? Like, how can we figure out what that harm looks like to then be able to take steps towards remediating it? So that's purpose. And then finally, progress, or that's your hands. This is the action part. Uniquely, how can we strategically intervene to protect the contexts that have shaped us and will shape others behind us? What's the thing that we can do? How can we physically lift up our community, right? And it's not about just having your passions, having those conversations and using your mental energy, but it's like, how can we actually match all of that with the work that we're doing? And that could be as simple as having conversations with folks, or that can be as difficult as going to build a homeless shelter, for example. I don't know, but like, what's the thing that you're going to go out, mobilize yourself and some of your friends to go do? And all of these directly correlate to the different prompts, and those are listed below. I'm not going to read those out. You can read those, but the goal here is to give the importance of reflecting as a way to move forward. That's how we lift up our community, by figuring out how we fit into it and then working towards changing it for what we think it could look like. So that's the presentation. Thank you so much for entertaining me and being a part of this. If you have any questions, just let me know, but that is the conclusion of this.
Kayla, any questions?
I don't have anything specific. I just wanted to like make a comment that I really enjoyed this. This was like the icing on the cake for my evening. So thank you, Joshua, and then thank you, Maddie.
Yes, that was a perfect segue. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, it was so wonderful. I took a big old page full of notes. You are a wonderful presenter, facilitator, presentation maker, all of the things. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for your time and all of the wonderful work you put into this. I so value the opportunity to connect with new folks and the time and space to reflect. So thank you for creating that for our entire community. I'm so excited to share it on YouTube, push it out on our website, all of the things. It's just wonderful. So with that, I will let you rockstar dancers get some rest, get some food, like get out of here. Thank you so much for logging in, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.